Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel. I'm your host, Armani Talks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills in order to help you improve your way with words. In this episode, I'm going to be giving you my very simple system in order to stay consistent for the long run. You ever met that one person who is running a business? They understand that they keep getting the same questions from multiple different people, and it would benefit them if they have a YouTube channel where not only can they attract new clients, but also they could keep sending the videos of the same questions that they keep getting to the new person that asks. But this person is like, look, I can't start a YouTube channel. My day is already so busy as it is. But I know that a YouTube channel will benefit me in many ways. I just don't have the time. While on a different part of the world, there's someone else in the same exact industry. This person's business is much more scaled, and this person is capable of running the YouTube channel. What separates these two individuals? For both of them, there's that desire to start the channel. For both of them, they have 24 hours in the day, but only one person is executing. You want to know the difference? That person is better managing their time. And this isn't something that people like to hear. You're telling me that I can't manage my time? Impossible. In reality, as humans, we're not programmed to be great time managers. The clock, the watch, is a human invention. At a core level, fundamental level, humans are basically gearing towards entropy. They're likely for high chaos when left unchecked. Therefore, a plan is required in order to better manage the time. And in this video, I want to give you 3 simple principles that I follow in regards to productivity. Not 50, not 100, just 3 simple principles. And then I'm going to be executing those principles in my personal organizer planner called Simplify. As I'm explaining this planner, if it resonates with you and you want to plan out your day following my framework, you can grab a copy of Simplify in the description box, and the pinned comment right down below is currently available on Amazon. So let's get started with principle number 1. What stays in the mind gets lost in the mind. Most people, they don't got good concentration skills. They could barely concentrate for more than 10 seconds. What makes you think that this person thinks of something to do for the day will actually do it? Now wait, they may do it once in a while, sure. They may do it for the entire week, sure. But whenever we're factoring in consistency, we're thinking year by year or decade by decade. Is this whole, okay, well, let me just plan out what's going to happen in my head and then I'm going to just do it. Is this strategy going to work on a decade by decade basis? I doubt it. This person would be much smarter if they learned the whole process of externalization, which isn't that scary. It's basically just writing down what you plan to do for the day. Typing is one thing, but I've come to find out when you actually write something down, you just personally feel more invested in it. So that's principle number 1. What stays in the mind gets lost in the mind. Number 2 is to go from macro to micro. Imagine that you've never seen an elephant before, and I take you into a room and I just show you the trunk of the elephant. What are you gonna do? At first, you may smell it, you may hit it a few times, and you don't really know what this is. It just looks like a very big rope. And this is very limited information. This is not a good judgment. It's not a rope. It's an animal. It would have been much smarter if I showed you the entire elephant from the beginning. I gave you the macro level viewpoint, and then when you zoomed in to the trunk, you're capable of understanding, this is just the trunk of the elephant. Similarly, with our days, it's much better to have a very macro level overview. And when I'm talking macro, you should actually know what each month is going to consist of. Not super detailed or anything, but just a general theme of what you're trying to accomplish for the month. And then once you go micro on the day by days, that's when it's going to start making more sense why you're doing certain activities. You want to know a little secret? Someone who addresses the macro before the micro doesn't really require that much willpower. It's because they have a lot more information than the person who's just taking it day by day. This person who just focuses on the micro is gonna require a whole bunch more willpower. And anytime with people, if you make them require too much willpower to do something, they're going to distance from it, or they're just gonna procrastinate, make excuses. So go macro first, then micro. And the third principle is that if you could say something in one word, say it in one word rather than a sentence. So if I'm like to you, what are you gonna do for the next 2 hours? What you shouldn't do is be like, oh, well, I'm gonna write this blog, I'm gonna edit this blog, I'm going to polish it up, make it search engine optimized, then I'm gonna publish it, and I'm going to market it. You don't wanna do all of that. If I ask you, what are you gonna do for the next 2 hours? You should just be like, blog. Okay? So we wanna use one word haymakers because this is all the mind needs in order to understand what it should do on a day-by-day basis. Okay, so those are the three principles. What stays in the mind gets lost in the mind, so externalize it. Number 2, go macro to micro. And number 3, use one words if possible rather than huge sentences. Now I want to show you how I use this formula in the Simplified Personal Organizer Planner. To get started, the planner starts off with an undated calendar. So it doesn't matter if you're watching this video in July 2021 or July 3021. The calendar is undated, so you can personally fill out the calendar depending on whichever month and year you're from. And then the calendar has a month, a year, each of the days, plus this month's focus. Immediately, this month's focus creates a theme for the month. Just a general direction. You don't need to get super specific. Then you could start planning out your month. You don't got to get super detailed because remember, we're focusing macro first. Then there's goals, projects, and notes. Additional places where you can start getting a very high level overview. You start seeing the elephant rather than the trunk. Once you get your month started off, that's when we go micro. The next couple of pages are all day by day tasks. So each page represents a day. You're going to have a goal for the day, the date, schedule, to-do list, and the notes. I can't stress this enough. One of the most important parts of this section is the to-do list. Go to any high performers and ask them what they get the morning started off with or end the night with as they're planning their next morning. They'll say the to-do list. Without the to-do list, how do you technically measure whether a day was successful or not? You don't. And when you don't have the ability to measure whether the day was successful or not, you know what you do? You start confusing very minuscule tasks as very big tasks. Johnny yelled at me today. I guess I gotta write this big block paragraph and post it on his wall so all his friends can see. This is a very important task. Whether you want to admit it or not, that's what's going to happen with the mind. So with the to-do list, you're capable of just organizing it. You could use your one-word haymakers and just post it. You have a rough little schedule of how you want to fill out your to-do list. And at the end of the day, you just cross it off. Each one has a little box where you could cross it off and feel the utmost satisfaction. Confidence is not based off how many tasks you begin. Confidence is directly proportionate to how many tasks you begin and finish. So with the simplified journal, you take the guesswork out of things. You're able to be consistent in whatever craft you're trying to become a master in. Let's say you're an entrepreneur that's working in the education market. You have an education business where you are in the beginning stages. You better be in control of your schedule. Otherwise, other people are going to suck up your time. Let's say you just became a manager in a very small company, but nevertheless, your day is extremely busy. You have to be the leader of people. Once again, a simplified journal is going to organize your day. Let's say you're a parent. You just became the parent to a newborn. Your day is going to be busy as heck. And once again, a simplified journal will be able to add structure into chaos. So this is my personal formula. I've come to find out that the more that I write things down, the more that I go from macro to micro, and the more that I focus on the one word haymakers, the more likely that I'm going to be consistent, not just on a day-by-day basis, but on a decade-by-decade basis. That's how I'm thinking in terms of long-term thinking. No short-term thinking on this channel. So if you enjoyed today's video and you connected with the Simplify Planner, be sure to grab your copy in the description box or the pinned comment right on below. And thank you for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel.